Mr. Moderator, Mr. Jen. Okay, thank you for the introduction. So let me try to share my screen on this PowerPoint first and see what we can do from there. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me for this session today. Again, my name is Muhammad Arkam Che Munaaim. I'm currently, I mean, more towards engineering education or specifically in certification for construction personnel. So that is my role now as a um, um, certification provider for construction personnel. So today, the topic that been assigned to me, and also thank you for Monash for inviting me again for this session today. It's an introduction to the Industry Revolution 4.0. It's quite long. Uh, all topics sometimes because we have talked about IR 4.0 about last 5 years. But I really do agree that the topic is still relevant due to the current trends in, um, especially when talk about career opportunity and to give an awareness on how we can place ourselves as a new graduates, either in engineering or in technologies, on how we want to place ourselves as a one of the market contributor in terms of our skills and our ability to be in the market in future. So you are all, in my expectation, you all should be students of Monash University in engineering or engineering technologies. So welcome to the session today. Hopefully this session will be beneficial for everybody lah. So this slide is arranged by myself, and hopefully we can go for a little bit awareness and see on how we can um, capitalize the IR 4.0, especially in our the future um, career development. Okay, some background of IR 4.0 before we go for the more um, let me close this more important slides. IR 4.0 is current. I mean, the state now that we have is actually the revolution from IR 1.0, 2, 3, and now actually we are agreed that we are actually in the IR 4.0. No one give this specific name uh, uh, as a registered name. It's not a registered name. It's actually a specific naming been agreeable by the whole the whole world regarding on this. Let me try to open up this back. So I'm lost my slide regarding the name. So no, sorry. I said wasted. So are you back here, isn't it? Back here.
Yeah, I can hear, can hear.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I need to change my slide first. And how what we can have with this? Yeah, it is much better. So it's actually the globally accepted terms when refers to the Revolution 4.0, categorized by the integration. So this is the special part of IR 4.0 is integration of advanced technology, where a lot of technologies been integrated together to produce one set of opportunity in terms of the industry for the industry. So when we talk about industry, it's actually for us when we going towards our career later, we will become the industry player. We will join in the industry. So actually, the revolution is actually for us. So we need to understand and to participate in this revolution so that all benefits that we can get it together through our participation in industry. I am from Brazil built a previous three industrial revolutions. So they got three previously recognized revolution in industry, such as or they are the mechanization of production. Where is that actually IR 1.0? And then the introduction of assembly lines, that is really 2.0. Adoption of computers and automation, 3.0 is a previous IR 3.0. And 4.0 is convergence of technologies, where we got a lot of technologies been develop at the beginning might be the isolation development. So this technology has been developed by these people, this technology developed by the people just to solve some specific issues, but end up it become converged. It been integrated, interrelated, and how it communicate with one technology to another. So there is actually surface the IR 4.0 in our market or in our industry. So the technologies that been adopted to become the elements of IR 4.0 is actually the AI, artificial intelligence, IoT, Internet of Things, robotics, and big data, transform the way we doing our business now. So now in your, I mean, in your era or in your age now, basically you have been exposed to this kind of technologies at early stage. So at my time, about 20 years back, so I cannot see all this at that point of time because our focus is more to the IR 3.0 at that time, automation, computers. But when we enter IR 4.0, I think in last 5 to 10 years, now we can see how it been changed our industrial landscape. So do to you when you enter job market soon, maybe 1 or 2 years, in 15 to 20 years, you will be witness another IR will be coming or will be surfaced. Maybe IR 5.0, and you might be able to reach IR 6.0, something that more advanced that we can see now. So understanding your status and your position as a industrial player in future by knowing this kind of fundamental things on IR 4.0 will be giving you a lot of benefits to place yourself on how you want to go for the next challenges in your own industry. So the replacement of the technologies as well as the manpower to replace us in the industry in future as for engineer or for technologists, the time will be your time. So will be another set of industrial revolution that will be surfaced in future. So the technology is enabling new levels of automation. So we can see the automation is now more advanced. We have in fact autonomous vehicles now start to be in the market, and semi-autonomous. We have, for example, now the modern cars now having this line assist features where they keep your vehicle in these two lines, on the right lines and also the middle lines. So keep the vehicle there. So if your steering is actually controllable by this monitoring, it's a monitor controllable. So it's a no modern cars having that functions to start on this kind of autonomous driving vehicles. So it create more sensible in terms of safety, where if you have been maybe a little bit out of these two lines, you'll be triggered by this vibration on the steering, something like that. So there has it in our standard safety features of every cars in modern cars now. So it's very, very true that the technologies in automation is very, very, very there already. Customization, efficiency, driving of innovation field of healthcare, energy, transport, and also more. So the timeline of IR. So you can see from 1782 when the steam engine was introduced. The steam engine was introduced, it start to spark our previous IR for 1.0 regarding the steam engine contribution to the industry. So we can see the steam engine locomotive, the steam engine power station start to develop and run our industry at that point of time. So the job opportunities coming from this steam engine industry and all these associated parts and services coming together to offer a job opportunity for the steam engine technologies. Later on in 1913, on the conveyor belt, where our assembly line is about 200 years. 150 years, 140, 30 years. After that, the conveyor belt become another industrial revolution for that era. 2.0, where the assembly line require this kind of conveyor belt to improve the efficiency regarding the production of manufacturing. So this is happening in 1913 and soon 1944, where the computer started to introduce in 1954. Computers start to take over some of our function in the more algorithm way, more effective way in 1954, even though computer is very rare to find at that point of time, but that somehow sparked the industry to go towards more efficiency regarding the computer technologies at that point. And cyber physical, we have started in 2015, where we go for this smart automation. So the smart automation is considered as 4.0 now, where everything we talk about smart building, smart house, smart technologies, smart car, smart um, safety, security, smart camera, smartphone, smart gadgets and all whatnot. So we're talking about smart now, where we understand that it's actually to start to provide us that kind of assistance welcome to our daily life. For example, our smartphone, it start to go and evolve at what we can see now, and then it coming with this kind of applications, Google Map, for example, all these ways, and where previously in 20 years back, no such services been offered. So at that point of time, 20 to 25 years, we rely on our cognitive to understand the location where the landmark is there. So we want to find place to meet or to arrive. We need to go for some physical maps and also some direction coming from our members where we can give them a call. But now no need, because it actually been very far advanced when we can use Google Maps or even Waze or whatever application related to the maps. So it's somehow increased a lot of opportunities in terms of work, current work trends, and also increase a lot of efficiency when it comes to the management, the time management, location, logistic, and whatnot. So everything is come together. And the key point of is actually to improve the overall efficiency. So we can see from steam engine to the cyber physical system on the smart automation, it's actually the purpose is to give more efficiency to the services that we are providing or the product that we're going to produce in terms of this kind of manufacturing. So this is the timeline, the important timeline when talk about IR 4.0. And other resource, looking about this 1.0, 3.0 up to 4.0 today is a cyber physical system where we got these two physical and also cyber things to work with together, where improve our supposed to be our efficiency. So the mechanical production equipment, water and steam power in 1784 actually passed already, but it actually burst in one error at that point of time. And 1870, another things, 1965, 1969. So we can see the timeline or the years is different because we are referring to the different resource. As I said, there is no there is no specific and clear definition of IR 4.0. It's actually our understanding and the global understanding. What is IR 4.0? We are all agreed in the world level that IR 4.0 is the current trend now. In the year of the establishment of each in IR is actually depend on the location that where are we at that point of time. For example, in our Malaysia side, we are a bit late in terms of this kind of all technologies. If you've been in the UK for the last year, if you've been there, you can see a lot of electric cars. In fact, taxi also using electric cars. It also in same goes to China, Beijing, Shanghai, and a lot of big city in China. They'll go for electric cars. We rarely find our electric car here in Malaysia. It's very hard to find. Huh? So there is meaning that some countries are having an early awareness or early establishment to understand the global technologies based on their own, yeah, it depend on developed countries or developing countries is depend on that as well. So the timeline is also different based on that countries, based on that country. So don't be confused with the timeline. For example, in 1870, 1782, 1913, and this reference 1784, 1870. So don't get it confused. There you go. It's supposed to be not 18, it's been 19. Supposed to be 19, sorry. This one's supposed to be 8. Oh, yeah, sorry. 17, 18, 19. Yeah. Yeah. This 17, 18, 19. Actually, now 2022 lah. 22, go for 2025. Actually, basically in 2022. Okay. Another, I mean, reference talking about this timeline 1784, 1870, 1969, and today 2020 is supposed to be somewhere here. So this is where we can understand that mechanization using the steam turbine and then go for electrification in 1870, where the assembly line was introduced, and then go for PLC automation, where we start to go for automated things, and now IR 4.0 is talking about this networking, Wi-Fi, signal, data, and whatnot. So digital transformation from mechanization, steam turbine, into the networking, digital related industry. Now we are now witness it. Now we are witnessing this as our time now, when we are currently in the industry. So the transformation of this IR from 1.0 to the current IR 4.0 been there for last about 300 to 350 years back. So that is where our civilization is based in depend on the location. The years might be slightly different due to that. So we are actually following the trends. And just a simple tips for everybody. If you want to see what is our future trend in technologies, you look into our central point of resource in terms of our technologies. For example, we want to look into what is going to be in our automotive industry, car industry. So look into the UK, and you need to look into the China as well, because China is a very big industrial is going there. So if the electric cars now in the UK, in the China, it become norm, so the technologies will somehow enter our market, and that become our future technologies coming in. So we got about 15 to 20 years behind them to start to evolve our own industry. And then we are reaching to their point now, where there is the opportunity for us to work with in terms of our own career in future. So there is actually some hint. That's what I can foresee when I enter the market of work, I think last 20 years. And then now I can see what is actually coming in. And then from there, we need to map our own step. If you are in the business, if you are in the corporate development or whatnot. So that is where you need to focus, where the trend is coming in, the wave is coming in, you will be there if you like or not. You'll be there. So people who some people we quite conserve in that. It's conservative. We don't want to go for kind of change. So somehow they will be get left out. So this is important for us as an engineer or as a technologist to understand what is the current and what is the future projection on our career and our industry, so that we won't left out. And same goes to us as a business owner, for example, for whatever BD you are working with, business development, to look into our third countries that following us, where the opportunity that we have now, actually, they will start to go and collect and run that opportunity in their countries for the next 15 to 20 years. So meaning to say that the first level countries, developed countries, will be in front, and then the second developing countries will be following, And the third country will also following that after us about 20 years back. So the opportunity of work is actually in a cycle where the continuity is all there. So I think by ending of the session today, you will understand what I mean on that statement. Huh? All right. This is the step of regarding the first industrial revolution, second, third, and also fourth. I think the same thing, only I've changed the layout to give you how we progress from the first industrial revolution, talking about this mechanization and the steam power, and therefore revolution of the electric power, where we start on our conveyor belts, and then the third one where we combining all this automation, and the third one combining the automation with where the PLC is introduced, programmable logic control, and also all this control system is very important to start on I mean to start to eliminate some manual handling. So PLC doing that part, and still there. PLC is still there, it's still relevant for us to go for PLC for some purpose, but need to be integrated with the current IR 4.0, for example, IoT, to make it more efficient in our daily useful life. Okay. End of 80th centuries, we talk about steam turbine again, electricity in 2020, 20th century, early 70s, we're talking about electronic on it is not 20th century lah. It's supposed to be 19, starting on 20th century lah. Use of electronic and IT 70s, and also near future we're talking about cyber things, all about cyber, smart home, smart building, smart phone, smart cars, smart controller and whatnot. So internet, intelligence, and machine becomes together. We come together. So it actually the purpose to have more automated things so that it can replace our job in manualing it. So we don't have to do it on manual. So everything need to be more, because faster, I mean pace of working. So we need to have it more and more convenient and more efficient. Okay, now the term IR 4.0 introduced by the German government 2015 represent the application of these three: AI, data or big data, and IoT. So that is why I'm saying that no one is actually owning the terms of IR 4.0. The term Industrial Revolution 4.0. I need to correct this first. Revolution. The term 4.0 was first introduced by the German government, 2015. So they have declared that our AI, big data, and Internet of Things become one of three of the main pillars regarding the IR 4.0. So the terms introduced and widely spread and understandable for the first level countries, developed countries, developing countries, and third world also accepting this as one of the common terms where been introduced in 2015. So that is why the topic is, to me, about 8 years back regarding this. But now when we talk about it, then I can foresee in a few years it become another IR will be coming in to replace or to improve 4.0, or it might be IR 4.1 version 1, 4.0 version 1. That what we anticipated in future when talk about this revolution. Okay, creative economy calls for the new world of the makers of Industry 4.0. So that is where Malaysia, we started in 2017, where we start to use the terms and deliver it content. So my first talk also was in 2019, where we talk about IR 4.0 there in the colleges. So this is where we want to go. And other countries is looking for the more, prospectus in terms of what the technology or what the revolution to be in their specific country. For example, Sweden is talking about production 2030. So the skeleton of IR 4.0 in Sweden been rebranded into another vision, 2030 production of Sweden. And the other terms in German made different. Smart industry in France, in the UK, high value manufacturing, industrial industry in Netherlands, smart industry in France, industrial for the future, America, manufacturing renaissance, Spain, fabrication avanzada, Italy, fabricate intelligente, operation program in Greece, there in the Austria, Indonesia, for example, German, and China, India, Singapore, and also Malaysia, innovation in Japan as well. So when the terms was introduced, so countries is looking into the terms and how we want to visualize their future. Same goes to we have, for example, previously we have Vision 2020 is over already. Then now we have, before this we have 2050 transformation vision. And at the middle, we have 2030, for example. So same goes, so same of the world also looking into the same terms, how they want to bring up this IR 4.0 to be capitalized into their own specific countries, to be useful in their own industry. So the terms industrial revolution starting in German, and we are all in the global level accept the terms and accept what is the current needs that require through this IR 4.0 from German. And Germany we can consider as a lead countries regarding technologies as well as the the champion of the technology evolution. Okay, let's talk about the pillars of IR 4.0. So understanding the history and also some basic terms and how other countries is looking into the IR 4.0 for their own benefits. Now we're looking into what are the elements and content of IR 4.0. They name it as a pillars. They name it as a pillars or content element, or you can name whatever, but the specific or the generic names for these elements of IR 4.0 is the pillars. So it's again depend on the countries, depend on the book that you're referring, depend on the technology that they have, and at that specific countries, they came out with their own pillars, and the pillars is actually not similar. It's not comparable from one country to another. But minimum, it will be there about 6-7 pillars. Some countries have 8, some countries have 9 pillars of IR 4.0. But in general, we can have about 5 or 6. First of all, we're talking about the IoT, the Internet of Things, where everything needs to be and online. Online monitoring, online data, online spreadsheet, online Google, online online meeting. So that is things. Not only related to that, we have online meetings, for example, online meet, just like online class. Whatever equipment that we wanted we wanted to monitor, online monitoring, where we put it into the system of sensors, and then that sensor will communicate to the IoT system. The IoT will send the data to us wherever that we are location through the smartphone. So the IoT is actually a chain of data delivery for us to monitor or to assess something that we want to go. For example, very simple one, a camera. Previously, we don't have that kind of remote view camera. So it's just local camera, CCTV. I'm talking about CCTV. And then all this recorded video will be placed or will be kept into the data storage. It's a physical data storage at that point, but early year 2000. Yeah? So you cannot monitor it into the IoT things. But now you can buy a camera about less than 50 ringgit from Shopee or from Lazada, and you can place at your home. You can monitor it by your own IoT. You can set it by yourself. It's very simple now. It's very user level. There's no more technical level. It's just user level. It's a plug and play things where we can go up to monitor our home or our area of location by using that. So it's very convenient to talk about IoT. Analytics, where we analyze the data and how we want to make it simpler to understand the gist of the data and how to capitalize the data into our own needs. So there is data analytics, virtual reality or VR. We look into the virtual side, the virtual side or whatever you want me to generate. So it's all there already. When we talk about virtual reality, cyber physical system where the cyber security will be there, cyber physical data storage, cloud storage will be there. And talk about big data, we are not dealing with small and hardware data anymore. It's supposed to be wired and cloud based, because data storage, if you want to spare for ourselves, it will be very difficult for us to cope with the data requirement when talk about the storage system. So the best is actually to subscribe the data provider. You go for Google, from Dropbox, from Microsoft or whatnot, and everything data providing companies, and then we store our physical our data there, so that it will be more convenient for us to maintain it. Not talk about big data. And also cybersecurity. When we talk about these internet things, the cybersecurity is become another main issues for the data protection as well as the commercial things lah. That's why commercial thing. So this is one set of pillars that we're talking about IR 4.0. And another pillars that we are going to go for quite detailed today is related to these pillars. When talk about data, when we talk about industrial revolution, we talk about AR, augmented reality, big data analytics, to cloud computing, the integrator, additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing is new term as well. IoT, cybersecurity, simulation, and robots. So these 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 9 pillars when talk about previously we got about 6 or 7. So this one 9. But when we go into this, again, I need to say that the reference is different based on the book that you refer, or based on the resource that you might refer, or based on the country also having their own set of localized pillars to be more specific for their own needs. So the pillars will be different. There is no right or wrong answer, but the gist is there. When we talk about AR, big data, cloud computing, integration, IoT, cybersecurity, simulation, and robots, is actually regarding this kind of IR formation. So we can know the elements by know the fundamental only lah. So that is why there is no right or wrong in talk about it, because the reference will be different based on the country that we're referring. Okay, we also talk about these 6 things today. So we talk about first one, AR, where we talk about without AR, without augmented reality. So they design physical prototype, and then physical prototype, 3 times physical, for example, and then go for manufacture, then printed for finished product. Then this is how the AR doesn't play the role at that point of time. And when we put AR there, everything needs to be done in the design stage where everything will be computerized. The elements of each segment will be integrated together. We can see everything before the products being produced, because the production of products, we can skip on the multiple prototyping, because the prototyping is actually the visual thing that we want to see when we don't have this kind of AR before. So AR comes to ease ourselves to do things in the computer first. Make sure everything is okay. Then you start to produce your first prototype. So that first prototype is considered quite final prototype. It's just waiting for the actual scale of the things, and then you start to manufacture and produce your finished product. So it will be more and more convenience for us to work with this within this computer simulation things before we go for the actual physical products. So with this introduction, we start to create another new job and skill as well. And the job skill that require into this AR, augmented reality, is business analytics specialist, data science, software engineer, system engineer, IT engineer, BI, solution architects, IT analysts, machine learning scientists, rough and also engineers. So the future of our industry is really depend on this kind of new engineering field or new job scope and skill that required in our industry. So when you understand this, you know how to place yourself in the future to make sure you are relevant to the industry when you start to participate in the industry. So this is what we can see from this introduction of augmented reality. So some of the augmented reality looking into the creation of the design simulation and prototyping through this AR first. Then you start to do the actual skill, one-to-one skill of this physical prototype, and then you start for manufacture and you start to produce your own products. Okay. Okay, again, starting from the IF 1.0 as just a recap, steam engine, assembly line, computing or internet thing at that 3.0, but now we're talking about how it can be integrated all together through this IR 4.0. We have the mobile device. Everybody have their own mobile device, not only one, but two, three sometimes. You have tabs at the same time. You have computer, laptop at the same time. Some person who are having two or three handphones. So it's everything. You'll be actually our mobile things where we go everywhere. We'll bring our mobile devices, and some most important part now. So we don't have also to go for this. Sometimes we can left our wallet at home. We just want to bring our mobile device everywhere. So IoT platforms where everything will be platform into the IoT base to integrate these things. Location detection technologies that we have in our Google Maps, Google Location, advanced human machine interface, how the human machine can be interfaced through the advanced technology. All these IR related elements to be implemented together. Fraud detection, talking about cybersecurity, 3D printing is also quite developing now. It's a popular thing. It's quite developing, and the 3D printing in maybe 10 to 20 years it become the normal printing features in our home. Every home will have this 3D printing at their home house, and if everybody is exposed to the how to do the design through the CAD, computer aided system, or computer aided software system, so they know how to print these 3D things, and then that will become one of the more important appliances at our home. Same goes to our normal printer today. Previously, 20 years back, printer is very, very expensive. People can afford to buy. And now printer, we have a mobile printer. We can print things everywhere that we go. So that is part of things that will be evolved in 15 to 20 years, where I can foresee that a lot of houses will having their own 3D printing to support whatever they need, especially when it comes to parts they want to produce or things they want to produce. The 3D printing will become important there. Smart sensors, big data analytics, multi-level customer interaction, AR, and also cloud computing. So this is again the fourth industrial revolution elements. And convergence and application of 9 digital industrial technologies. Again, the reference 7, 8, 9, or even 10 is doesn't matter. What we need to understand is the fundamental of IR 4.0. We talk about robotics, additive manufacturing, AR simulation, horizontal vertical integration. We don't have that in previous reference, but integration needs to be there. Industrial internet. The term is different. We are using IoT, so this one using the terms industrial internet, cloud computing, cybersecurity, and big data, and how we analyze the data through big data analytics. So one thing is quite popular now. We talk about the analytics and big data function now when we have the Chat GPT now in the market, and it's just ready to answer all our questions based on the data that they have and how to analyze the data through that Chat GPT function. So it's very helpful in terms of to get some ideas of writings, and actually not an idea, they settle the writing for us. They do everything on the writing, but the limitation is also there. The limitation is also there, but it's very, very helpful for us to get to understand how it's been utilized for our own benefits. Okay, augmented reality. So this is some of the AR. When we talk about the technology that we have, where the tools will be bringing to see whatever is actually inside by having this kind of technologies. So if I can share, stop share. So I'll share back my whole screen. So for example, this one. I'm not sure whether you can hear the sound or not. About 1 minute. In construction. AR in construction. Okay, I think one more. This is about 3 minutes, but we'll try to make it very fast.
So we cannot hear your audio.
You cannot hear?
Yeah, cannot hear the.
You cannot hear the video?
That cannot hear the video. Yes. You
I
try
mean the
sharing
video.
it. Yeah, we cannot hear
Again,
you.
sorry.
You can try sharing it again, but you remember to press the share sound. When you press the share screen, there's a share sound button on the.
Oh, okay, share sound. Okay, let me see. Let me share screen, share sound as well.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Can hear. Yeah. Can hear.
We're actually able to position hyperscale 3D models out on site to millimeter accuracy. You're able to, at the point of install, check that the works are being built correctly in order for you to build it right first time. There are a number of other solutions that exist out there today, but they're very much focused on the consumer market or multiple markets. In order for AR to be valuable within the construction industry, it really needs to be accurately positioned to within construction tolerances.
We've been able to translate our highly detailed and curated models right to the field right first time. And while all that's been super important, we've been able to drive a quality culture and a safety culture as well, which means there's less waste on projects too. It meant that even after some restrictions were eased, we could continue to live stream and reduce the amount of visitors to site because they were attending virtually, as they had been during the peak of the crisis. And that was a major win for us.
What becomes apparent very quickly for them is that it makes information so much more accessible. We're 3D creatures, we operate in a 3D environment. It makes sense for us to interpret that information in a 3D format.
They're embracing the technology. In the beginning it was like, oh no, it's another thing to govern us with, but quickly realized this technology is here to help.
Okay, I think this will be an eye opener of what essentially do we have in our technology now. So let's go back to our slide.
Welcome to the future.
Okay, so back to here. So this one is using this I mean the tablet to see what is really happening in the machine. But the previous video is actually they have more advanced technology where they wear the head as well as these visors to show it real time while working. While walking in the construction site, they can see everything through the AR visual actually what is happening there and what is actually behind that setup for them to understand and to prevent unwanted things to be happen. So this technology comes actually to help us, to assist us to minimize our errors when talk about human errors and also maybe design errors, what we call that integration errors. So this technology will come and help us in terms of that manner. So this is another example on the, I mean, the pictures example. We'll talk about this AR and the visor things and also the smart glass. Also, we have now in Google have this Google smart glass as well to integrate your phone with your spectacles, so you can see what is actually in the phones through your spectacles. So this is thing that now in the market already. And this also regarding the VR, visual reality or visual AR, augmented reality. And now we talk about the big data and also the cloud computing. It's quite integrated. We talk about big data analytics and how we analyze the data, the big data, and how we want to use the cloud computing. So the big data contribute information or summarize of our routine. So the big data where they can capture the data, but and having it algorithm to process it, and we can get something is more important for us to create another things from the data that we have. So there is a function of the big data, and to work with the big data, such big data, we need a lot of space to work in terms of the memory and also the storage. So the cloud computing will be integrated together so that these two can at one point to help and assist us on this kind of the big data. So the evolution of data storage, I'm not sure you have see this 8-inch floppy disk in your age now, but I can see I've used to see this before in early 90s, close to year 2000. We have this 8-inch floppy disk, and then we have a diskette. This is what we call a diskette. And this one you in late 1990. About 1988, 99, 20, year 2000, 2001, 2002. So it's still there. And then USB drive comes somewhere in USB drive here in about 2 terabyte starting from year 2000. And then we start to do for SD card, micro SD, and now we have the cloud starting from 2009. And in your eras, I think somewhere in 2010, going towards, you can see all this, but you cannot see the previous floppy disk, where it is quite big, 8 inch, as you can imagine how big is it. And then it's been slotted into the CPU. At that time, CPU is not big, but very low comparably lah, compared to now in terms of the specs and also the speed. And the function also limited more to word process only lah, more to word process. Just, I can say, the main function of the computer at that time in 90s to 2000, more for word process. So imagine if your computer have Microsoft Word and programming, C program, and maybe calculator, and some basic function, just like slide now. I mean, Microsoft PowerPoint now, just like that, but not like that. 100% lah, of course. So these three main functions is more useful because we type and we write letters through the computer because it's more easier for us to delete and to do this kind of copywriting. But lately, we can see the computer technologies also been evolved when we talk about cloud computing and whatnot. So this is what the evolution of data storage, when we talk about big data and also cloud computing. And now USB drive also been very, very less used. We don't use it that much now. SD, micro SD, as well as cloud. And this is how it looks, the actual looks. This is 8-inch floppy disk. This 8-inch floppy disk, and then we have floppy disk about 5-inch smaller. Then we go for this diskette. Now we name it as a diskette. I'm very, very sure you're not using this. And then we have floppy disk. This is what we name it as a diskette at that point. There's a slot to save a storage. Then you keep everything. That's why it comes in colors so that you can differentiate what is the content of the floppy disk, and you can write the content in the front there lah. So there's so index there for you to write the content. And then maybe it's not here, it's actually on the CD also. CD also the storage elements at that point of time. Now this one is still in the market, is still there, is still relevant for somebody. But I'm also not using it anymore. We are now go for cloud computing. This is cloud computing that we have now. All these kind of providers are Dropbox, OneDrive, Copybox, Amazon Cloud Drive, Google Drive, and whatnot. So everything is iCloud, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of providers is providing this kind of services where you need to pay for yearly fees to get subscribed for this every, data storage management. So when we talk about data storage management, the technology of encrypting and also to compress it into the very minimum size also been developed by the providers as well. So there is a continuing demand and high demand things that we want to assess in our daily work, either as a students or as a workers in the future. So this is things that common for us. We talk about OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive that drive is actually common for us now in year 2023 now. And this is how it looks like in the data storage, because that data need to be stored somewhere. We don't have it access to the actual data storage facilities in any part of the world, but the true internet, we can upload our things there and it will remains there until we remove it up. And imagine that all these data from all people been uploaded into one location or one storage system where the provider can use the data back to create another things to offer in the future. So this is why cloud computing, data storage, big data, and also cybersecurity is very, very important to protect that kind of unfaithful regarding the data that we have. So same goes to the network submats, for example, just like Facebook. It's a network submat where you can find friends there, and you have your mutual friends there, and the activities will be recorded there. So imagine on how Facebook can understand what is actually our character can be explained by Google. Our character, even though we had never met the Google's teams, but they can character ourselves due to data that we give input in our Facebook, for example. So that is why um, when they know about us, I mean, regarding this, for example, you have a smartphone now. Google has your old activities in your smartphones now. They can give you a timeline back, where you have been last month, last year, last 2 years through the Google applications, and they can spell out your character based on your Google application that you have used, and what is your activities there regarding storage, regarding locations, regarding your work activities, regarding your check-ins activities through Facebook and whatnot. So everything is actually no more, I think we can say it's no more privacy in terms of that, but you need to filter out what we want to share and what not we want to share, because this is quite at the same time, if giving you a lot of what we call it, this flexibility, and also the effectiveness, and also the convenience, but at the same time is data, I mean the personal data acts also regarding this is quite challenging for us to be present in the virtual world. So there is things that we need to bear in mind, that not all things are good. We need to also filter out and process the things very, very, very precisely. Again, data storage, and also this lady is looking into actually a computer in early 1950s. This is a set of computers that they have at that point of time in the office in the US. Okay, how the Apple computer looks at that point of time in 1990s, early 1990s, and maybe 1980s. This is how the computer. This is the slot for the floppy disk to be entered. You got two slots to be entered, the floppy disk, slot 1 or slot 2, and the computer QWERTY keyboards, and also mouse come later. Mouse actually comes later. Before we just use the cursors, arrows to move our cursors in the computer. So this is how a computer looks like in 1980s or 1980s. Then it been developed from 80s, Macintosh, 86, 87, 89, 1989, 90, 90, 1993, 93, 95, iMac 1998, 2001 iMac patents, and then go for iMac what we call it, monitor, and then start for the 2007 now computer as what you can see now. So this is the evolution of iComputer, Mac computer, since 1984. So the evolution is there and still evolving. It's non-stop hardware and software, and how it looks like. It also been lot of changes, of course, due to the current technologies and current trend and current demand. And phone, this one is computer, this one is phone. The previous phone, I've seen this kind of phone in 1994. I mean the first top right, top left, the first Ator or mobile phone look like this, where you have big bulky batteries there to store about 4 hours of battery usage. And then we move to this computer phone, and then the bottom left is the evolution of this smartphone from the previous size phone. The big issues on the phones at that point of time is a battery. So now the battery technology is also a lot of improvement, and still evolving. We talk about battery storage, and also the storage become more and more what we call that, smaller, and the technologies and the efficiencies as well as the technologies behind it is much, much advanced at this point of time. So this is the real phone in 1990s and 1990s, where the evolution of phone, that what we can see now towards this all black screen is all digital and all very, very convenient for us to use it compared to that one. And here, how we use phone at that point of time. This is on the bonnet. Engine bonnet is actually the phone where the one of actually the construction workers is calling through that phones on the side base. So it's actually was there in starting in 1990s, 1992, 1993 was there already, and the evolution coming more rapidly in year 2020, 2019, 1999, 2020, year 2000, and it's become more rapidly technologies, and also the phone that we have is more and more convenient that we can see now, huh? But this one also convenient at that point of time, of course. And again, the Nokia phones, there's a quite popular, starting from 1970s, 76. Then the phone evolutions, first mobile in 1984, and then it evolved until that one thing that we have now. Phone also start evolve from this kind of phones up to now phones as what you can see and what you have at your hands. So these are the evolutions regarding the phones. And when the things become more to mobile phones, that is where the integration of IR 4.0 stream towards the application of phones, where everything needs to be in your phones now, because phones is actually represent you. Whatever that you have in your phone is actually your identity is there. So actually your virtual version of yourself is actually in your phone. So that is why we connected through this all the source as well as the for example Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, and whatnot. So this is our virtual presence in the world to represent ourselves rather than become the individual in the real world. So it's quite common, and everybody needs to have that as well for their own usable things, and that will be more benefit if you can use it in the right way. So okay, next, system integrator. So when we have this cloud computing, let's say AR and whatnot, and phone technology starting from the computer to the phones and everything will be now how we want to integrate it to make sure everything is in the order, even though we are using it in the maybe at the isolation, people use it or develop it by their own purpose, but end up they start to link back to the computer system. So again, we come back to the fundamental of this talk is talking about the first, second, and third, and also fourth industrial revolution. Now we're talking about the networking here, the bottom right, how we want to network everything in terms of the usability of the programs, usability of the specs and system, and also the applications, so that we can be very, very useful for us. This is how the process of integration, everything will be put into the internet. The internet is actually connected to the cloud. The cloud is using this data management. And in this every single specs or every single movement, there's a, I mean, the common understanding on how we want to integrate it into our system. So this is happening now. Okay. Okay. Smart factories. Smart factories, talking about HMI, high human machine interface, human machine interfacing, sensors, tools monitoring. So this is a lot of opportunity here. So also monitoring tools, especially when integrated with the IoT, the instrumentation, the control system, as well as the robotic things that drive the industry in the smart factories. So same goes to the house also, going towards the smart house. So smart house features will become norm in 15 to 20 years in future. So house will be equipped with the minimum smart homes technologies, so that you can see, or you can be there as your own area. For example, for the last 20 years, we don't have air condition in the house, in the private house, because it's very costly in the last 20 years. But now every house or every home need an aircon. So aircon will be part of the necessity rather than the exclusive things that we have in the past. The same goes to the smart home. Even though now it's quite expensive, or last few years quite expensive, it become more and more um, affordable in coming futures. And also the previous technologies regarding the house also will be get vanished through the current technology that will be overtake the previous one. So it's a matter of trend, it's a matter of production, where productions take up this kind of new technologies to replace the current one. So it's will be there by you like it or not, it will be there. So the smart home will be the everybody needs and afford at affordable price in the very near future. So it's things that now going on. Okay. Smart factories talking about smart buildings, smart homes, social web, business web, logistics smart, grid smart mobility, and all these things will be integrated together to the Internet of Data, IoT, Internet of People, Services, and also IoT, Internet of Things. So the data, things, everything need to be online. Our monitoring system need to be online. We want to see things from our smartphones, and that things become our necessity in the present era. For bank, for example, customer centric. So if you can see the bank's evolution also, they come into the digital banks now rather than go for physical bank. They don't encourage people to go for banks for the purpose of withdrawing minimum less than maybe 5,000 ringgit. You can just withdraw from your ATM machine. They don't encourage people to go for withdrawal. If you talk about 5,000 ringgit, if you talk about 10,000, 50,000, then we'll entertain you. So they want to make it accessible as possible due to the current trends. So the corporate banks, retail banks, capital markets, wealth management, payments is all through data, all through the Internet of Things, all through the smart sensors, smart technologies. So this is how the technology is evolving, and you to be produced as a new engineers in very new future, the things that you want to go as your career. I think this will be one of the best job scope that you want to involve in the future. Smart home, for example, how they're monitoring the music volume or volume of your TV, climate, how to put a shades there. 80%, for example, they put shade about 80% due to the whatever the exact or the actual environment outside of your home, and then the ceiling lights also been customized into the requirement of your own needs. So you don't have to switch off or to switch off to switch on all the lights just to get lights, but the light will be computerized, calculated on what is the amount light that you are actually required at that specific area, rather than you switch on the 100% of lightings. Cabinet light also, and all the lighting system will be very smartly integrated and communicating with one and another to give you the sufficient ambience lighting strategies, so that you don't have to switch it on 100% base. So this is important, and in the future they will become very norm in our home in the future. Smart home also talking about this integration between internal and also external. Everything can be monitored through your smartphone. In fact, now we have plug and play technologies for air condition. You can switch it on before you arrive at your home, just to make your home cool or cool before you enter your own house. So it can be switch on before you enter. So you're traveling, and let's say you're about to arrive next 30 minutes, you switch from your phone, your aircon. It's now features comes together with the smart and play, smart plug and play technologies only. You don't have to get it a technical person to set it up for you. It's very convenient to communicate between your air condition through your phone, through the Wi-Fi at your home, through your digital or data Wi-Fi, through your smartphone. It can be communicating. So from there, you can switch it on, switch it off. You can monitor everything through your own phone only. So this is things that now start to be introduced in our current, housing development. They start to use some elements on the smart homes technologies so that they can go for higher, demand for the purchase and the commercial side. So the things is actually been developed and it's been now actually ready for us to use from time to time. Is actually there already. How we want to use it is depend on our budget as well, our constraints lah. So this is part of things that been available in the market for now already. Additive manufacturing. So what is actually additive manufacturing? It's talking about materials that been used to improve your production or manufacturing activities. The first 3D printing process developed in 80s. Nowadays, 3D printing is part of rapid prototyping. So established technology used to fabricate scale model from plastic very quick. So this is additive manufacturing, where they put things to your, this is all the YouTube link also, you can use it later. I will share the slide with you later. I will share the slide with you so you can have it monitor later lah. So additive manufacturing become another sections. And then data driving industry 4.0 is talking about 3D printing, data driven manufacturing, the made for the industry 4.0. So the terms is now being circulated again in the slides, because that is actually the main things when talk about IR 4.0. And they will involve, or will be how we will get involved. Definitely we will get involved because we are the user. We are the user or the consumer of the IR 4.0. So the big data is actually in our pipeline already. The products, the intelligent product is introduced. The logistic things, we'll talk about how you can buy things from Lazada, and the supplier or the manufacturer is in China, for example, how they can send the things right into your house, door-to-door services, by using the high-tech technology monitoring from sellers to the sorting center to the what you call that, transporter, logistic, dispatcher, and reach to your house. You can track the progress of the delivery from your phone only, because it's all integrated. The logistic is more and more much affected due to this kind of technology. They need to somehow to improve their technologies and their services in terms of these new coming technologies. I from Zo talking about the intelligent and additive manufacturing as well. And the consumer will somehow, you like it or not, by hook or by crook, you need to participate in the industry revolution 4.0. It's already there. It's already there. Okay, and in fact, we are there. We are the user of IR 4.0. Either you like it or not, we are here already. So, okay, we skip this. We talk about Internet of Things, where everything needs to be internet on the internet. So, things that you can monitor through internet is things that giving you the lot of flexibility in terms of monitoring, as well as the access to the services more conveniently. So whatever things now, in fact, your classroom, your lecture also comes through internet that we have now, for example. And in Monash, I'm very sure everything also will be offered in the both ways, either go for physical face-to-face and also for through the Internet of Things, through the Zoom meeting or learning management system. Is all need to be there to support this kind of technologies. Not to support, actually to use, because it become our daily routine now to get involved with this kind of IoT as our daily life requirement. So IoT is not exclusive necessities, is actually the basic one, the basic necessity where everybody is required for the same thing. We are using the same protocol to establish our presence, physical daily activities through the virtual mode of us. So we have our virtual modes, we have our submats and whatnot, everything, blah blah blah. And the data storage, we have this account of Google account, Drive, and emails, everything. But at the same time, we have our physical mode as well, to integrate these two together. Okay, what do we have in internet for 1 minute, 60 seconds? And this is quite long time ago, for 4 years back, 2019. But as just a fundamental thing, so we can try to find what happened in the internet minute in 2022 in the Google letter. I think that one also will be very important for us today. But this one quite old, back 4 years back. For Facebook, 1 million login at 2019. YouTube, text, what's it? WeChat, I think. This is a Google Apps and Google Play Store, Apple Apps and so Google Play Store, Instagram, Twitter, Tinder, emails, Twitch, I'm not sure, music streaming subscription. We have what we call that? Spotify now, for example. Smart purchase, Echo from Google Home. Google Home have their own facilities, or even I mean the device for Google Home. Giphy, Facebook and Messenger, Snapchat, online spending, Netflix, Google, Facebook, and so it is happening in 1 minute only. So if you can see this, how actually our future is actually much depend on how we understand and how we utilize the internet capability to market ourselves and to be present in the mode of virtual mode. So we have our virtual mode, remember. Our virtual mode through your SockMax account and all your internet database things. So actually the virtual mode of you. And we need to be presented in the virtual mode, same as we presented in the physical modes. So people can recognize you by your own presence in your own SockMax, for example. So that's why use SockMax wisely to promote yourself, to become a professional in your area. Use a good platforms such as Facebook and also Instagram, as well as the LinkedIn is a very important account that I urge every student to have the LinkedIn account from now, to start to connect with other people. I can foresee that in the future, the numbers of followers will become one of the criteria for some job scope. Numbers of followers, I repeat, numbers of followers will become one of the criteria for some job scope. For example, in the future, what I can foresee, because I'm also the education lines, I'm also part of educators in the higher university, high institutional. So in future, you will be evaluated as your virtual presence in the internet, how you've been presented in the internet. We will virtually appraise you through that. For example, to become a lecturer, university lecturers, let's say in 5 to 10 years in future, 5 to 10 years, I think 5 is quite soon, but maybe 10 years, all these criteria, you need to have PhD in this, you have this good class in your degree, for example, you have your specific area of research and writing, you have the blah, 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 you have it, and one other criteria, at least you have minimum 10,000 followers from the LinkedIn, from the Facebook, for example. So the followers numbers will become one of the criteria for some job, for some career. Not every career. So because it represents how you've been recognized in the market. So that is why the students need now to have this good representative of yourself into the virtual area. I'm partly there because I've been there and now I'm still in there, but my turn will be somehow over in next 15, 20 years. And your turn will be recap and replenish our times. So actually, by having your time now, starting to use these kind of technologies in the wise way, so that people can recognize you. And believe me, that is why you can get a lot of opportunity through your virtual presence. So virtual identity will become necessity for everybody in the future. So this is what we need to take into account where you understand the system now. How Alibaba started from the Jack Ma founder. So Jack Ma in 1964 go for this is actually the Jack Ma things lah. improve English for foreigners. Jack passed the third try, rejected many jobs, including manager at KFC, work at English teachers because he want to improve his English efficiency. Starting a translation company which guides him to visit US and then recognize the internet. So he understand the internet in 1990s. And then China page his first attempt at internet business, 1995. 3 years, made of 5 million Chinese, and also returned to Hangzhou. Teams have found Alibaba, then in Alibaba in 1999 for 17 of invested Alibaba, then 79 million members from the country for 244 countries. They start eBay to purchase Alibaba but rejected, and Yahoo co-founder with $1 billion investment and raised. So this is what we have in Alibaba. So this is how Alibaba started from Jack Ma. And okay, but the business and manufacturing. So this is where the IT or the segment of the internet being used. Business, manufacturing, healthcare, retail, security, and also the transportation. And cloud service system, again, has talked about smart highway, smart hospital, smart city, smart factory, smart home. It's actually located and also working with this kind of smart cloud and how it been serviced and platform in our accessible internet location. So this is where we can go and up ourselves to be present in the virtual mode. Okay, the Internet of Things, from connecting device to human values. So device connected, data sensing is also important. Communication, data analytics, value, and also human values is things that can be benefit from the IoT technologies. IoT technologies. So we're going to go quite fast. We've got a lot more to go, but try to finish it by 15 minutes more. IoT in industrial consumers, phones and whatnot. So everything, I think the explanation is quite detailed from the previous part, where you know the history of IR 4.0. Now actually we are the user of the IR 4.0. Okay, this is thing. I suggest the step. Screenshot this. The excavator operator is located in Munich, Germany. Job site in South Korea. So this man using the remote technology to operate the excavator in Korea while he is in Germany. So the thing is, it can be happen now. It can be happen now. So that is why we really need to know how to use it and how to capitalize it in terms of getting these internet things or internet related things, and how it can be remotely very, very useful. Use your own analysis thinking or creative thinking, or maybe critical thinking to utilize it, because it's all there. It's been developed by other people. We as a consumer need to understand how to use it only. So this is one of the very important parts that have been already there in our industry. Cybersecurity, we talk about the data protection, crypto, currency, digital money, digital coins, digital payment, and what things that are related to that. And cybersecurity is very, very important because it become, as I said, virtual world is actually a virtual challenges. We, even though we have the physical presence now, we have also our virtual mode when we integrate with all these softmates, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and whatnot. So we have our virtual characters, and we actually communicate with other people virtually. We buy things virtual modes. Actually, we have our virtual world together, all interconnected, to be useful for our own earnings in future. So cybersecurity, banking security, and related to whatever security that we have in physical mode, same goes to our virtual modes. So another job scope is actually coming from this kind of opportunity. Either you go for the crypto, or you go for data protection things, or you go for all the security things regarding the cyber things. So it's actually one part of the element that we want to have in our own what we call that, virtual world. Okay, simulation. And the simulation most likely is related to virtual reality as well, where we simulate things before we put it into the clear and precise functions. For clear and precise function, the simulation will come early to prevent any errors in future. You don't want to commit errors in the process of your products or your services, because it will create another cost for you. So one thing to do it, but to have a very good simulation, and maybe you can create your own simulation as well to use it in terms of to get it right at the first time, to get it right for the first time, to eliminate the potential of defects or potential of what we call that inconsistency. Then you can just produce the best products for your clients. So simulation is very important as well. So this is part of simulation using, I'm not sure what is the tools that you're using now. It's a kind of related to the flow analysis. So how it will float into this kind of simulation, and you can see the temperature difference between this. I think this is related to electrical what we call that, motor or stator, something like that. Winding, something like that. Okay, another simulation, we talk about the conveyor belt or things that been designed on the conveyor system. So you can see the conveyor layer there. They can move then around and they put everything there. The size, space, and also the requirement constraint is all been crafted into the digital version before it been implemented into the real version. So this is things that important for us to eliminate the flaws, the errors at the first place. Everything need to be precisely there, because we want to have efficiency, high efficiency, and less manpower, plus minimum cost when we talk about the productions later, or the constructions later. Everything need to be in the computer first. Everything is fine, simulation is done, VR is done, the calculation and all these things of risk will be mitigated, everything is there already, then only we can go for the actual constructions based on this simulation or real augmented reality things that we have been developed before. Same goes to construction. We have this simulation on to see on how the heat, coolness, temperature setting, the factors affecting your temperature regarding your materials, colors, fabric, and also the exposure to the environment is also can be calculated using multiple simulations. You cannot maybe rely on one simulation. So multiple simulation can be addressed to solve this simulation things before you get it into the right done at the first time. Okay, this one also the simulation on how we want to erect this tower crane at the side position, and how to put it into precisely so that it cannot mix with other development at the same time, because it's very crucial to have a very good positioning that can be done through your simulation, so to avoid mistake and to avoid what we call that to avoid mismatch, when you start your physical construction activities. Autonomous robot. So autonomous robot also very advanced now, where we can have this kind of say bottom left robot playing the football, even though the assignment is very simple, but to do this kind of things, to put it into one robot and mix it with the individual other robots is very challenging. But the technologies are there. Even though it's still a lot very, I mean, expensive in terms of the technology, but how we human think to solve this kind of because playing football is just a metaphor. It's just a metaphor, because the science or the technology behind it is the things that more benefits rather than robot playing football. You need to understand the goal is different, but the process to reach the goal is something valuable. And this robot can be changed into the swimming robots or climbing robots or even the fighter robots, because it can become the technology where we want to develop to replace part of our activities or part of our human. human what we call that replacement in terms with some kind of activities. So same goes to the other autonomous robot. For example, other pictures. There is this ladder or stair climbing robots, or it can be used very useful. So the technologies regarding this also, even though it's very difficult to assess due to the cost, but the productions and the way forward of doing this is still in progress, and I can see a lot of opportunities there in these robotic things as well. So in the manufacturing, for example, car manufacturing, whatever manufacturing they're using robot, they have very precise robotic elements to help that, to assist them in product in produce a product, so that they can go for mass manufacturing from the same robot arms. And robot doesn't have to stop. They can work about 24 hours per day. So it can be 24 hours productions by using the robots. Okay, what are the skills that are required for this IR 4.0? Emotional intelligence. So we're now talking about the EI, to put it the highest hierarchy, because these things need to be stabilized first. We have emotional intelligence, cross-cultural competency, where talking about the global interconnectedness, globalization is all about the cross-cultural competency, where we need not to talk about our own localized issues. We need also to understand what is available in the global issues, so that we can participate. As I've said before, we have 3 types of countries in the world: developed countries, developing countries, and third world countries. And also there's some countries that is not in the categorization. But the flow and the evolution of business coming from the first world countries, then they will pass over to the developing countries where we want to use it. And then we, at this kind of location or position, we need to use our time to look into the industries where we can do we can develop our career there. So the cross-cultural competency is very important to understand that. Coordinating with others, where we have to communicate. I've mentioned also we have 2 versions of ourselves: physical version and virtual version. How we communicate, either physical or virtual, is very important nowadays when talk about your career. Adaptive thinking, where we can change our mindset fast to understand others' requirement, and how we adapt our thinking to facilitate our requirement in terms of work. We have to be disciplined, is cross over all our professions. Service orientation, we want to have our service at the right service mode. Creativity, how we want to see things differently, and how we want to solve people's problems from our own perspective of creativity. So future skills, I think this is all soft skills that can be developed among the students to get ready to enter the job market in future. Future-oriented skills 2022 and beyond. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements that we need to be there, to understand, to make our presence is visible into the market regarding your physical or virtual appearance. The technology, how you understand about the technology: cloud computing, cybersecurity, AI, and ML. ML is machine learning. AI is artificial intelligence. Big data analytics, virtual, augmented reality, blockchain, video production, user experience. Then how you understand literally on the digital things, programming, for example, digital literacy, usability of the applications in your phones, and how you use all this data, computational algorithm, digital ethics, understanding smart systems, cybersecurity, tech enable, means that you are tech follower. You follow the text. Whatever technology is coming, you know how to follow. You need how to utilize the technology being developed for you. We don't We don't have to develop the technology as a user. We can just use it, but we can integrate between technologies to be useful in our daily activities or daily career activities. Then you need to be a critical thinkers as well, where everything needs to be understand, and then you got the information, you process the information and put your logical thinking and how you want to have out of the box thinking, not think as a normal people or normal user of the technology. You think how to capitalize it, how you want to monetize it is up to you. How you want to go to use your critical thinking to monetize things that you can become one of your income or source of income in the future. And importantly, talk about the self-management, how you discipline yourself when talk about work, when talk about your relations, when talk about your professions, when talk about your time management, your financial management, your work attitude, your documentation preparation, self-control, motivation, integrity, emotions, own strengths and weakness. So you want to put it into your own self, because yourself is your represent your work. Yourself representing your work. So whatever people can see you, people supposed to see your product behind you. If you're working as a maybe salary earners or workers, people can understand you on how you behave in the workplace. For example, interpersonal skills, communication, mental health, building relationships, teamwork, effectiveness is all important, because if you see here, we don't talk about your CPA, your grades anymore. Enter into job market is purely in your ability to adapt, ability for you to use your knowledge to produce things that required by your employer. The communication skills, how you storytell, how you tell things from the beginning up to the end. So you need to understand what is the flow of knowledge profiling, how you want to transfer your understanding to others by having this storytelling, what we call that, skills. So public speaking, how you want to be in the public, to talk in front of public is very important. Synthesizing messages, how you synthesize the message. Now, while having the communication, you know how to synthesize the message. Then you become the active listener. You participate in the to listen and to process the data and to produce your own critical analysis to solve some issues. Mental flexibility, adaptivity, ability to learn. You need to be creative, adopt different perspectives to see things from the different view. When we're communicating, we have two views. For example, as a speaker, I have my views, but I also need to be in your shoes to see from your perspective and how you want to develop your mindset to start to understand the subject matters, translate knowledge that we have into the progress of understanding. Starting from we started from the history, we started from the terms, then we start to develop the content to higher, cognitive thing that you need to learn and to synthesize the information that we're having now. So I need to see from your perspective as well, and how easily you interact with this information, so that you can give, even though maybe you are not 100% focus is this webinar, for example, but we have the recorded session. You can see it or you can watch it at another time. For that, maybe 2 times, 3 times, you can start to understand actually what is we're trying to say here. Relationship, empathy, humility, sociability, and inspiring trust is quite important and very, very important as well, for you to be friendly known as a people who can be tag along and to can be what call it, contribute to whatever things that you're doing. Teamwork, because we cannot work alone, of course. The effectiveness of collaboration, resolving conflict between us, motivate people to go for their own limits, coach people, empowering people, fostering the inclusive. People are all inclusive in one subject matters. We are going to do the same thing. So we want to have a very good inclusiveness. People can feel that we are inclusive, there's inclusivity in what things that we're doing now. So the inclusiveness, bring people together and bring them together with your goal and skill to make them work in the team is very important to you to lead the teams when you work in the future. Leadership, for example, role model. So you need to be a very prominent role model for others, especially for your young generations. Crafting inspiring vision, organizational awareness, how you organize things, how you put things right, how you evaluate the team strategies and the functions. Ownership and decisiveness, decisiveness, how you make your decisions by understand your ownership. Grit and persistence, you put it into high persistence level so that people can understand you actually using your work precisely on whatever that you are going now, more to the I will call it persistence pace of methods. Ability to cope with uncertainty. So this is also important because not all your plan will translate into the actual events. So you need to be adaptive to the uncertainty. You should think fast, react fast to solve that specific problem at that specific times. It's very, very important for you to what you call that, to be practical when the times require you to be decision making at the point of time. So these future oriented skills 2022 for all students and all young engineers or graduate engineers or engineers to be in the future is very, very important. Don't look into your technical ability in doing things only. That thing can be learned when you put yourself in the office. Everything can be learned, but some of these skills need to be developed. Need to be developed. Even you can learn also, but the ability to do it and adapt it fast is very, very important. Okay, this one I think I want to skip. You can read it later. Behavior skills hires for the fresh graduate. So what is actually we are looking for? Hires for the fresh graduate communication skill. We get about 5: willingness to learn, initiative, honesty, integrity, self-motivated, self-starter, self-confident. Communication skills. This is behavioral skills. How you behave in the organization. First one, you need to willing to learn. You have to have your own initiative to learn or to work. Honesty and integrity. You're self-motivated. You're self-starter. Don't have to tell you things to do. You know what to do already. You have your self-confidence. Functional skills, communication, trainability, meaning you are willing to be trained. You are fast learner. You are not closed door. Whatever new things, you are not just what we call that the predecessor or successor or whatever been taught by you before, because other people will come with another perspective. You need to adapt to that new perspective. You need to be competent, problem solving and analytical skill, how you want to solve problem. You have analytics skill to solve issues, and tech know-how. You need to understand the technology as well and how you want to use, for example, Google Map, Google Docs, Chat GPT, Google Excel, Google Slides, Google Drive. So that kind of Google things very, very helpful at the current working area. Okay, as a cap, I think starting in 1784, we talk about Industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. At the last few slides, I'm talking about what we can do in terms of as a new engineers to be in the future. So this is part of skills that we are requiring for you to have in order for you to be functional in your organization in future. And then the wave of industrial internet, coming from industrial revolution, internet revolution, industrial internet now become wave 3, where the industrial revolution marry with the internet revolution, become industrial internet. Everything in the industry need to be put into the online mode, so that as what we have in the personal mode. For example, I have my own personal physical mode. I have my own virtual mode. Same goes to every industry. They have their own physical presence and also virtual presence. So that is what happening in most of the business, where they need to go for virtual accessibility as well, compared to the isolated physical access only. So every business need to be in the internet. So people will keep and search you through the internet to reach to your business. So industrial internet is very, very important as well. Whatever skill of business you are providing, actually you need to be visible on the net as well. Machine and factories that power economies of scale and scope, then it comes into the computing power and rise of distribution information network. Then with these two marry, you get the machine-based analytics, physics-based deep domain expertise, automated predictive through the industrial internet marriage between the industrial revolution plus the internet revolution to become the third wave in our industrial revolution 4.0 now. Okay, what next? So I've personally take these pictures last 2 weeks when I went to a conference in Kuala Lumpur. We're talking about the AI now. Even though AI is part of the industrial revolution, that's why I'm saying the AI itself now become champion in the way of it being evolved. It's very, very even AI, actually you can see here, AI is already here. Oh, no AI, here. Okay, augmented reality plus human machine interface is called an AI as well. So when we talk about AI by himself, it might be become the IR 4.1, where it detached from the main pillars to become it owns AI as the next industrial revolution. Either they go for IR 5.0 by itself, or it become IR 4.1 in terms of AI only. In terms of AI only, it's part of the things that been extracted from the original pillars to function by himself. So let's see, the exploring the possibility of AI. This is pictures I've taken, and this thing that we can get from the internet as well. More and more things now been circulating the AI technologies, autonomous system, machine learning, deep learning, neural network, pattern recognition, natural language process, chatbox, real-time emotion analytics, virtual companions, neuromorphic computing, cognitive cyber, blah, 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 and all these things is actually between or within this AI. So we can see that AI can become one of the important aspects when looking into the current job opportunity, as well as the later or future job scope will be offered in the market. So let's see, AI, the potential to impact various industries by automating tasks, improving efficiency. In healthcare, for example, and also the transportation. So AI developed to self-driving cars optimize the traffic flow, because the cars is communicating between cars when they have the AI technology inside the infrastructure of the road, been communicating to the internet, they've been communicating together. So that is how we can estimate our ETA, estimate time of arrival, using the Google Map, because we have this sign of minimum AI. They calculate the distance, they calculate the time, then they know at what time you will reach to that point, to that destinations. So same goes to the other things for now. For example, you have ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very good in terms of having a paragraph or numbers, what we call it, points, when we talk about sentence creation, how you want to create your sentence based on this AI. But at the same time, there's some limitation at the same time. So we need to use that kind of technology. AI has the potential to transform many aspects of our society, including the economy, workplace, daily life, and it's already there. It's already there. Significant impact, and will continue to do so in the future, of course, because the evolution of AI, I think, for the last 1-2 years, and what it can capable in the 10 years, for example. Same goes to our phone just now. We can see the evolution from the first phone up to the last phone. So we can see how it can be evolved from time to time. And artificial intelligence job title that available in the market in the future, machine learning engineers. So how we want to go for research, design, implement a model of help machines making choices. So machine learning, how the machine will learn by himself, how the machine will learn by himself. So do we put the algorithm and also data inside, and he will start to learn, put another new data, and then synthesize the data, learn, improve, learn, improve, learn, improve, and then they will reach to the point where they are self-learned machine, and how to capitalize the ability of this machine in our work scope. Data science, where we deal with this kind of data, how to synthesize it, how to do these predictive models, how to do the insight from the presenting data. So it's quite important and very, very important. Data engineers, how you want to process the data, cleanse cleanse the data, pipeline the data, ensuring the formatted correctly to the intent user. What we want to use for that data. So we want to use it into the data engineers will do the things. And software engineers, how you use this kind of data to translate into your software work, and then you can go for your own usability. What you want to use. Product managers, this is more to understand the overall concept and the products and how you want to market it to make it transform into your money, for example, how you monetize the product through your artificial intelligence job titles. And architects, in this kind of architect, is not the physical building. Architects is actually the overall function of looking into the integration of all this to go for the one ecosystem, understand the long-term goal, then you can produce your own specific product by this artificial intelligence job title. So these are all the job opportunity for the machine learning engineers, data scientists, neural networks. So it's all related to the AI only. So I end up that presentation from IR 4.0 into one specific important that I can predict it, that it can become one most important thing in the very near future, as you as students, as you as the workers or industrial players in the future. So this is all the job opportunities that are available as in AI as concerned. So AI solution architect, robotic engineers, ethics specialist, trainer, annotator. So this is part of the new job description or new job opportunities that may be surfaced in the very near future for you. If you are the computer engineering or software engineering students, look into this kind of new work function, so that you can be early in the market and see how you can go for your future in your career. Okay, by then I think I end up the slide with this very common images: Lazada, Grab, Dropbox, Google Maps, Alipay, Samsung Pay, Maybank to you, Touch and Go, Tesco, Alibaba Group, Asia. So one thing common, all of this is all related to the data. It's all related to the internet. It's all related to software. It's all related to the what we call application, mobile, and it's all there. So what the things that we can anticipate for future in our career or in our engineering field is actually the things that associated with the internet. So what things associated with the internet can be translatable into the application in your phone, that is actually the near or the future of your career. Look into things that can be presence in the internet version or in the virtual version, and it can be translated into the platforms, application platforms, either Google or Apple. That actually the future of work is, it will be coming from there. So get yourself associated with this virtually, and yourself need to be present as a virtual you. Your submats, maybe your blog you have, or your website, your presence in the virtual mode need to be recognized. Then you need to have your own virtual world. All this, everything translated into your application in the smartphones. I think you are the right track to start on your career don't get yourself isolated from the internet. The future is actually whatever you can optimize, you can participate the Internet of Things monitoring, associate with it, don't leave it out. Is actually the future of your career. So by that note, I think I want to pass back to Jen. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much for inviting me again, Jen, and also
Yeah.
Monash University. Hopefully, the session will be useful for all of you. And if there's any related question, I'm happy to assist. Thank you. Back to you, Jen.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Arkam, for the informative talk. Okay, so before I proceed to the Q&A session, I'd like to take a group photo first. So everyone feel free to on your cam. Yeah. So okay, yep. Okay, so it's done. So right now, okay. So yeah, feel free to post your question in the Slido code here, and also I'll give you guys a few minutes to fill in the feedback form before we proceed to the Q&A session. Okay. The link will be shared in the Zoom chat, so you guys can access the link there and fill the feedback form and also the Q&A slides. Okay, so change. So for this, okay. So so this is the Q&A Slido. For the first question would be, what do you think about the current state of IR 4.0 in Malaysia? Dr. Arkam?
Yep. Current state of IoT, as a developing countries, I believe we are quite exposed, aware, and we cope up with the technology quite adaptively, very fast. And in comparing ourselves with other developed countries, we are not that far. To me, everything is going to the right directions. And everybody, even though they don't know about the theory behind the IR 4.0, but basically they are involved. They are quietly involved. And our infrastructure towards this IR 4.0 is also well provided. The data services, internet services, to me, is well provided. And the factories or the industry who cope with it are also very much adaptive, even though at present or at the beginning we are quite contemplating. We're still thinking of how we want to use for it, but somehow it become a wave that we cannot resist anymore. So the awareness, the current state, I think on 100 scale, 85 to 90% is all there already. It's all there already. Even in the sectors that we are working, the IR 4.0 is widely used very commonly in Malaysia.
Okay. Understood. Okay, so for the next question will be, how will IR 4.0 change the nature of work? Yeah, and the skill required for the future job. What is your opinion on this one?
I've concluded into the last few slides before regarding the nature of work will be changed due to these technologies. For example, we are talking about later on the most terms that we're using for our work is actually work-life balance, for example, workspace, mental health, for example. That kind of that kind of terms is comes together when we have access to the internet. We are talking about working from home facilities where a lot of people can work from home now by having this IR technology in their computer, for example. So these things, to me, will create another new nature of work. Not necessarily all workers need to be present at the office. They can be anywhere. In fact, they don't have to go for punch card anymore, in my opinion, because actually everything can be used by other means, other methods. And skill required, we have touched in a few slides before. We got to very adaptive to the current technology, where we want to change our mindset to learn and to make it, I mean, usable for our own use. And bear in mind that I stress so many times that we need to have two versions of ourselves, our physical versions and our virtual version. Everybody need to have their virtual versions. So that virtual versions is good enough for you to show to the world that these things that you want to tell people about you. That's it. You can spare the things that you don't want to tell for yourself on the physical mode or physical version. We don't have to tell everything, even our private life, for example, our private things. We don't have to share in the softmates. But what you want people to know you with this kind of character, you put your character there in the social mats, so people can recognize you by that function. So other than that, they need to know you in person. So the skill required is based on that kind of ability to adapt the change. To use the high tech, you need to be tech savvy. You need to ChatGPT, for example, can help you maybe about 30-40% of editing works. At the same time, you know how to use the paragraph, translate into a picture, for example, how you want to do that editing works. The editing works either from Google Docs or Word, Microsoft Words is very, very important for you to do that kind of. The searching mode is very, very much, because the slides that are presented to you is all come from Google. I don't have to put any of my own work there except one picture only. Other than that, it's all coming from Google. So how you edit it is become the skill that required for you. The resource is so much there, but you don't know how to use it, to edit it, to synthesize it, to produce into the product that you want to share with other people, is become useless. Even though you got so many resources. So let me try to help you on this question. Any risk for the IoT 4.0? Yes, if you talk about risk, like I said, I'm looking into the data privacy, because Google, in principle, they know everything about us. If you switch on your Google services, where you go, what you eat, where you went, who you meet, how you present in the calendar. You have a Google Calendar, you have Google Documents, you have all these things can be searched online through you. So they are talking about data analysis. I'm very, very sure they have individual data of us. As long as we go for social media, Google facilities, these two, they are able to create our own character and to put it in their own useful ways. How they want to use our data is actually the risk is there. Even though you purchase things from the Lazada or from whatever retail platform, it's all recorded. So this is where the risk for your personal life or personal data is very huge risk there. So that is why to be associated with the virtual is a must. But to filter what the virtual mode of you to be presented to the public in the virtual world is your choice. You can choose whatever you want to share, and you can choose not to share. So minimize your personal things inside your softmates. You put more on your working things. If you follow me into my Facebook or my LinkedIn account, I'm more towards my work rather than go for my personal things. So people don't get me into that kind of perspective. They will see me into the perspective of working members, something like that. So we need to minimize that. from happen, because it will be very, very what we call that uncomfortable if the Google knows everything about you, but at the same time you don't know things about them. So this is thing that you need to the AI will replace human. At the moment, I want to say that the AI technologies, they're very, very useful, and what we call that surface in our practice of working is most likely go for editing works. No, sorry, go for the paragraphing works only. They can create the paragraph for us, but we as a human need to go for synthesizing and produce more highly integrated work. For example, ChatGPT can produce a sentence. If you ask them or ask ChatGPT any question under their database, they can answer you, but they cannot translate that paragraph into pictures, for example. Even though you have AI for what we call that text to picture AI, but it not reach to the quality of human interfacing at the moment. But we don't know in the future. If the AI become more and more advanced, not only you can create the sentence from the ChatGPT, they also can create the, even though they has a slide creator. But I've been using the slide creator by AI. It's not so convenient for me. I need to go for my manual editing. So might as well I just use my manual work of using this AI or this developing the slides. So some job function, what AI can replace? Yes, the main things that AI very, very much appreciated if you want to read a contract document. For example, you have contracts document. It's a very high technical plus legit document. If you want to write, you want to read it, maybe 200, 300, 400 pages. It's a very, very long, lengthy process. So if you can upload it into one AI function, and then you put your own criteria of what is things that you want to focus, so they will generate for you the things that you want, and you can ask what is the risk from here, blah, 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 from this AI function. So everything that comes with a sequential task can be converted into the machine learning. I repeat, everything that can be programmed into sequence can be converted into machine learning. So as a human, we need to beat that. The sequence of work, meaning the routine of work, can be replaced by AI anytime. For example, how to switch an aircon. The sequence there. You switch on this, you switch and you put remote there. So that thing can be replaced by, when you have the SOP can be translated into the machine learning AI. Definitely replaceable. You can be replaced. But the things that in sequence, unsequenced, you can do it by sequence. You need to go by your own pragmatic and I mean, what we call that, the cognitive things to do it. That is more, I mean, what we call that safe for you to keep. So the things that the difference is actually whatever things that human can do to maximize the looks and also the appearance of things in terms of layout design, in terms of things, they can be hardly to be replaced. But the SOP things is very easily to be replaced. Will IR impact the amount of job opportunities? Yes, impact the amount of job opportunities in terms of both directions. They will be eliminate some job function. At the same time, will create more job function. They will create more job function. The eliminate the job function. Previously, when we talk about I think in the last 10 years, we think about job function of postman. At that time, when we had we just have postman here and maybe CityLink at that point of time. So we think this job function will be eliminated while we having the kind of technology coming from 21st centuries. But the expectation is wrong. It creates more job function for the dispatchers, the Grab riders, for Panda food riders, the new logistic partners now being established. Ninja Van, Courier, you name it. Lot of, I think, more than 40 to 50 courier partners that available in Malaysia. This beside that Post Malaysia only, where Post Malaysia is actually one of the government agencies back in 1980s. So let's see how it will evolve through the government guaranteed job function into the open market. Now we can see what is the logistic business looks like at the moment. So IR 4.0 in general will eliminate few job functions, but it will create more job function rather than the eliminated one. So this one is very, very sure, because the new demand of the new technologies or the new people come in to get the new engineers, the new technologies, the new web developer, the new software engineers is a very there and there. For example, your ability to create a website is to me now 2023 is a must. Everybody need to understand how to create a website. One. Secondly, how to create the application. I mean the what we call that, this Android, also Apple application. So this is the second thing that I think for all new engineers or engineering student or technology student need to get, because once you enter the market, this is the two things that you want to as part of your skill. Other than that is editing works. Editing works become very, very important now. Very, very important, because the resource is there. You can get it freely from the internet. But how you come out, extract it, and put into your own the development, I mean the sequence of delivering the information is your skill. So that part is unreplaceable. That one need to be there. As human function need to be there. So the impact of the IR 4.0, we can go for both directions. It's good things and the bad thing at the same time, but I can foresee same goes to other industrial revolution previously in IR 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 is all what we call it, will create benefit for us in the future. So that is my response for it.
All right. Okay. Yes. So I think that's all for all the questions for this session. So thank you, Dr. Arkam, for the talk. And before we end this session, I'd like you guys to, I have to promote you guys to join. For those who are not IEM FS member, feel free to join based on this QR code. And yeah, thanks you all for joining this session. And yes, I hope you guys learned a lot of things throughout this talk. Yep.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for inviting me, and hope to see you again in the next coming webinars. Thank you so much.
Okay,
thanks,
thanks for joining.
I'll share the slide directly to you for your members.
Yeah, sure.